In previous videos, I've talked a little bit about the subtotal function, and here I'm going to show you why it's so important and why you shouldn't use the sum function in circumstances where data is going to be filtered. We've already seen this data before. It's data for a number of salespeople over 4 quarters of the year. I'm going to format this as a table. I'll select the data, and from the Home tab of the ribbon, I'll choose Format as Table and select this format. The marching ants are surrounding the data, and my data table does have headers, so I'm going to click OK. And now my table is created. Now I'm going to do something that you should never do, because I want to show you why you shouldn't use this formula. I'm typing a sum function, and I'm going to total all these sales. I'll close the bracket and press Enter. And now I have a formula that's totaling these sales. I've rounded these values up so that we get a nice round number, so it's easy for us to keep track of. Now let's go and see what happens when I filter this data. I'm going to view just quarter 1 and quarter 2's data and click OK. We'll learn a bit more about filtering in a later video. What I'm interested in right now is what's happening here in row 23 of the spreadsheet. Here is my sum function. And as you can see, the result has not changed, even though we're only seeing a subset of the data. The reason for this is that the sum function always shows the result of totaling all the rows in the range, whether or not they're visible. For this reason, if you plan to filter your data either using a table or using Excel's filter feature, you should always use a subtotal function. The subtotal function is the one that Excel itself uses for the total row calculations, and it does this because it has a special feature that allows you to tell Excel that you only want to total visible cells. So right now I'm going to redisplay all my data by clearing my filter, and I'm going to remove this function here and type in a correct one. I'll type equal and then subtotal. Here's my subtotal function here. I'll double click. Now there are a range of function numbers here, and the ones you want are the ones that are in the 100 category, because the 100 categories, the 101, 102 and so on, are the ones that total visible cells only. So we want 109 sum. So I'm going to double click that to add it, and then I'll click the comma on the keyboard, and then I'll tell Excel what range I want to subtotal. Add the closing bracket and press Enter. Now this is a subtotal function, and the 109 function number tells Excel that we want to total this, but we only want to total the visible cells. Let's go back and filter out just quarters 1 and quarter 2 as we did earlier, and click OK. And now you can see that the subtotal formula is totaling just the visible cells. We can confirm this because if I select over these cells here, you can see that the sum calculation on the status bar is telling me the total of just the visible cells, and these two values are identical. It's important whenever you're filtering data in Excel, either using the filter tool here on the Home tab of the ribbon or using a table, that you use subtotal functions, because they're going to total and show the result of just the visible cells, not the invisible ones as well.